Patrick Netherton Show, 1130 The Tiger, 103.3 FM, YouTube Live, all of that. And we're pleased to welcome in as we continue our preseason previews for all of the Division I teams in the state of Louisiana. We head down to Natchitoches to our good friend Brad Laird. B. Laird, what's up, my friend?
Man, how you doing? I know I hadn't seen you in a while, but do you know who you are? Or
yeah.
What show you're on?
Yeah, it's early in the morning. It's early in the morning. It's a struggle this early in the morning to really know who I am. I'm not a morning person.
I do know that.
Tomorrow will be the day, though. The first day you kind of get up, you got a little adrenaline. Tomorrow will be the day that I'm really dragging, which is going to be unfortunate. But we'll get through it. The good news is I'm not talking to any coaches tomorrow, so I'll deal with it. All right, so give us the lay of the land for the Demons. Obviously, lost all the non-conference games last year. 4-0 in league play to start. Dropped the last two. Changing quarterback. Bunch of new guys coming in. Portal, whatever. Kind of tell me what's going on.
We want to build off how we finished last year, but the thing is. Probably more so now than at any point, not just our team, but any team. It's going to take a while, I think, for everybody to realize, what their team's about, and just with, new guys coming in, whether it's incoming freshmen, whether it's transfers. We had some that were here in the spring, but we had some more that got here during the summer. So, trying to build that team chemistry along with learning the schemes in all three phases. But, we finished, practice 7 last night. We got practice 8 tonight and little off-day meetings, team bonding tomorrow. And then, first time live with officials Saturday morning. So, that's always your first, kind of get an idea in a live situation with officials, who can do what. And so it'll be the first kind of mark to see, where we are with this football team.
Well, we always start, obviously, with the quarterback. And, by the way, I just want you to know, I talked to Frank Selfo yesterday, and they're back to calling him Zach Claymore. Down in Hammond. I told him, no, it's Clement. He told me himself. So I'm starting a controversy in their quarterback room. At least trying to.
What did he call him?
Claymore. Yeah,
exactly right.
Like everyone called him his first year at Northwestern, and then I asked him, and he said, no, my mom would prefer you call me Clement. And I was like, all right, well, then we're calling you Clement. So I'm trying to start a little controversy down there if I can.
Well, if Mama says Clement, it's Clement.
That's right. Mama called him Clay. I'm going to call him Clay. All right, so, Zach Clement leaves, heads for the portal. You get Tyler Vanderwall in, and he's kind of assumed the mantle. He's taken over the job. Tell me about him and kind of what his skill set is and why he has taken over that starting spot.
Well, at that position, especially getting a 1 year guy, 1 year of eligibility left. You want to make sure you get a young man that has experience. First and foremost. We kind of made that mistake, I would say, in the past, maybe a little bit. But with Tyler coming in, he does bring a lot of experience with him from two different universities. I know Idaho State was his last stop, where at one point he was Big Sky Newcomer of the Year. But prior to that, starting games at Wyoming, at one point being, learning, being behind Josh Allen. And so, he comes with a lot of experience. He comes with a lot of maturity. And I think that was the biggest thing, Patrick, when he stepped on campus, was his ability to lead. It didn't take long for guys to look at him, as the starting quarterback without being named the starting quarterback. So, that was good. I have not done the best job in the past on handling that situation, just to be honest with you. And so it was good to be able to, see him come in clear cut and be the guy.
Yeah. And it tends to make things easier. It's funny. There was, who was it? Maybe Adam Schefter, who tweeted out that he had never seen the word "or" on an NFL depth chart before, or on a depth chart before, because it's mostly NFL that he's dealing with. and everyone got back in his comments like, you clearly have never seen a college depth chart before. And I posted the one from 2015 where there were 4 quarterbacks listed, all had or next to their name before the start of the 2015 season for Northwestern State. So the good news for you is there's no or there. You know who your guy is, and I imagine that's somewhat of an advantage.
Yeah, and I think, for the guys, first and foremost, for the players want they want an identity, and they want to know what that is, and so they know what the identity is, they know who the guy is, and I think that's been a good thing. And you've seen it more in fall camp than you probably did in the spring, and I just think that's what took place over the summer, the continuity, with the guys over the last 2 or 3 months, but also at that position, bringing in Q Hawkins, that from Jones Junior College, that was at Grambling.
Mm-hmm.
Just getting here this summer, it's been good to be able to, he's been out last couple of days with an illness, but prior to that was, showing, his ability and what he can do. Not that there's a controversy, but as you go through a long season, you want to make sure that you got guys ready. You want to be able to provide depth at all positions, and especially quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback is one you likely will need a couple of guys before all is said and done. That being said, Brad, you've had kind of an interesting run with your starting tailback, Scooter Adams, who is a game breaker. I mean, that guy is a threat to take it to the house anytime he touches it. He got in the portal. You had to kind of convince him to come back, and he decided to come back, and then he had a good year. You've got a lot of threats in that running back room, and Scooter is chief among them. It's got to be rewarding for you to see a guy being able to pay off the ability.
Well, one, that is the deepest position, and when I say deepest, I don't say depth just to say we got X number of guys at running back. We can say we got 5 or 6 guys at running back. But when I'm talking about depth of guys that have played and will play, and that's 4 guys that we have. Start with Scooter and what he did back in 2021. I think in his first year in the conference, and he's been hampered since with injuries. But man, what he did in the spring and what he did during the summer, and I'm not talking about when you put the ball in his hands. I'm talking about just what he's shown from a leadership standpoint. And he's not vocal, but just because everybody knows the success that he had in the past, and then he has struggled the last couple of years staying healthy. And so for him to be able to overcome that, and it's been fun to watch because I think, he's become a leader without being a vocal leader, and it's been good to see.
Yeah, and I did enjoy. I posted it the other day. He had I think it was an 80-yard reception, I think against Lamar, for a touchdown. And I remember I said at the end of it that if your name's Scooter, you better be fast. And he certainly got speed to burn. That's for sure. There's no worry about that. The wide receiver core is also pretty solid, although you did have a transfer out of one of your big players going to Colorado. The question I have is the offensive line. You did have a transfer there as well, but you brought some guys in. How are you feeling like the offensive line is holding up?
Yeah, and I think that. I mean, I don't want to give coaches talk and all that, but up front, both sides of the ball, going to be very critical, and nothing, no more than the offensive line. I think that, if you look last year, which we've got to be able to run the football, and we weren't able to do that last year, and I think Coach Felt coming in has done a great job of getting that unit together. He's moved some guys around and still continuing to do that to find the best 5. We feel like that we can have 7 or 8 guys that we can win with. It's where do they fit, and who's is this individual better at center, and with the center now at guard. It's just playing around with those 5, and I think if we can stay healthy. And that's going to be a key. And then probably with everybody within our conference and FCS, is we got to stay healthy. But I think that unit, you see them coming together. You see them playing more as one. And we weren't always playing that way at that particular unit last year. And so it's been fun to watch the progression, and that's going to be a key for us. We got some young receivers, or I should say new receivers, not necessarily young, that need to learn the system, continue to develop here. But it'll come down to the play up front, like it always does.
Yeah. The one thing that we kind of spotlighted the last few games of the year last year was how your defense progressed throughout the course of the year. It was kind of that first half of Grambling was really ugly. Then it was basically a shutout in the second half, and then the first half at East Illinois was kind of ugly, and then the defense really played well in the second half. But until the UIW game, and again UIW put up numbers against everyone that they faced. It really seemed like that defense started to grasp what Weston Gloucester wanted them to do, and felt like they came along. I've got to imagine their jumping off point here, or their baseline here, is a lot better going into this season in the second year for Coach Gloucester.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about it much last year, and maybe you and I did off air, but when you go from a 3-4 or 3-man front to a 4-man front, no matter what number you put behind the 3 or what number you put behind the 4, is your personnel, especially going from a 3-man front to a 4-man front, you don't always have guys in place to play those positions. And early on, I know Coach Gloucester was trying to move maybe in a guy that played an outside linebacker to defensive end, last year to be able to make it through. But I think what you're seeing now is, another year to be able to recruit towards a 4-man front. You got guys that now are a year in the scheme, and I think he's able to open it up a little bit more. But the thing is, you got to come out and play from the get-go. And, you just talked about, a couple of instances where we didn't. And I just think the knowledge that our guys have, the continuity of playing together. And even though we do have some transfers on that side of the ball, 2 coming from Campbell. So, they come in immediately, not really having to learn a lot schematically because, they were with Coach Gloucester at Campbell. So, that's been a plus because you got one that's at linebacker and one at safety. And, the thing about any defense, no matter what numbers you want to put where, you got to be good in the middle. When I say the middle is the middle up front, your linebacker and safeties, to have a good defense.
Yeah, and that's what again, it seemed like there was a lot of growth on that side of the ball. All right, so who's jumped out at you, whether it be just someone that's new, that hasn't been with you, whether it's a transfer, a freshman, whatever, who's maybe one or two of the new guys that have jumped out at you here in fall camp?
Well, I guess I'll just start offensively. We've talked about, the 2 quarterbacks. We've talked about the running backs. Darius Boone is, we get him from, that provides depth at the running back position, comes in with experience. And so he's provided a spark there. But, receiver Dennis Smith, has come in. Twan Hines, came in from a Division II. You see him getting better. Dennis Smith has got a little ankle, but you saw what he could do early on. And Twan Hines is another one, that came from a Division II that really provides a big play ability down the field. And then up front, Quentin Ross. That's one of the positions we're trying to decide is he going to be center? Is he going to be guard? Brady Staggs, who's played a lot of games here up front, can play either guard or center. But Quentin Ross gives us a little flexibility up front to be able to make some adjustments. Defensively, just, looking at, I guess you probably first have to look at corner because there's maybe one corner that you'll recognize from last year. Everybody else is new. Reggie Strong, Perry Taylor, Emmanuel Brown. Those are names that you haven't called.
Sure.
And you'll get to know quickly. But those guys, I think, you've seen them step up at corner, and it's been a fun battle to watch, and they'll be able to compete and play for us.
How about special teams? Punter seems pretty set with Bird's own Scotty Roblo, but what about kicker?
Well, Brett Money's come in from New Mexico State. We had a 2-minute situation last night, and it was a field goal to win it. He came in there. I'm not sure. It was probably a 37, 38, 40-yard or something like that he hit with 6 seconds on the clock to win that 2-minute situation. So that was good to see. Now, we didn't have a full rush coming, but still got to get in there and make it. And he was able to do that. We've got to be more productive there. We get opportunities inside the red zone. We got to come away with points, and we only had 3 field goals last year.
Yeah.
And another interesting develop is going to happen at punter. I know you talked about Scotty. Scotty has not participated really since the spring game. He's got an injury that I don't know. That's a question maybe that you can ask him and the trainers. So anyway, we've got to figure out something there. So Brett, don't want him having to do everything.
Sure.
But may be in that situation. We'll just see how that goes.
Finally, you've talked a lot about Jason Smelzer, your strength and conditioning coach, and what he has meant and what he has done with your guys. And just kind of elucidate that for us, because in our world, the outsiders looking in, all strength and conditioning coaches are kind of the same, right? They run around yelling, and they paint their face, and they have their hat on backwards, and they headbutt guys. And, you think about the kind of, the Oregon strength and conditioning guy, the Alabama strength and conditioning guy that are just super high energy and, that kind of thing. What can a strength and conditioning coach do that is different from a previous regime that makes a huge difference, because you have lauded Jason Smelzer over and over again?
Well, some of the things that you described, you could say Coach Smelzer falls into that. But what you don't see, and this is the thing that I think separates the elite strength and conditioning guys is what he's doing before, during, and after the workout. What I mean, you go into a workout, before it starts, and the way they describe, what the plan is for that particular workout. But here's where it's different. Explaining why each individual is doing that exercise, and I think that's what Coach Smelzer has brought. Our guys, understanding why they're doing these particular lifts, it's going to benefit them. And some position specific, some all positions do it. But I think it's just the way he's able to get across what he's wanting to accomplish. And I think, guys want to know why they're doing something. That's just, who we are today. And so he's able to, used to, it could be a situation that you just write on the board and it says squat for, 6 sets of 10 at 80%, which that's impossible. But, at some point in the past, people would go in there, it's on the board, I just do it, right?
Yeah.
Well, now they want to know why and how's it going to benefit them. And I think Coach Smelzer does a great job, gets the most out of the guys. And, we've got GPS on, right now about 30 to 40 of our guys wear them every day for practice. And he kind of, gives those to different people. Before each practice, they wear it, and so after each workout or every practice, you're able to look at it and see exactly how many yards somebody ran, what was their top speed, and it just shows so many things, and he's able to break that down. And to manage the guys throughout the week was Zach Patterson, who's somebody I have not talked about, but caught 83 balls last year, newcomer of the year in the conference. You don't want him day in and day out running over 6,000 yards, because you get to Saturday, he's not going to be fresh and ready to go. So, that's something that Coach Smelzer has brought to help us, manage these guys throughout the week, throughout fall camp, to make sure we're not overdoing them, because that's when injuries occur. So he's he's really changed this football team, and excited to see as we continue to move forward with him.
Has anyone tweeted you or called you or whatever and gotten on your case about all of the hazing that's been going on at Northwestern? Oh, I'm sorry. That was Northwestern University in Evanston, not. It is funny, though, because we always joke about, we get their mail. I'm sure they get our mail from time to time. That always seems to happen. But I do want to ask you about that kind of in general.
Hey,
yes.
Speaking of that, about 2 years ago, Miss Elizabeth Holloway, my secretary, gets a call, and it's a parent that is wanting a refund for their camp, for one of our camps during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And as they went online, they registered the young man. The young man was not from Louisiana, was not from Texas, was not from Mississippi, not from Arkansas, not anywhere close, but registered for our camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, wanted the money back because as they are getting ready to go to this camp, I guess is when they realized it was Northwestern State and not University of Northwestern. And
right.
So, yes, I did gladly refund them.
Nice.
So you do get that. Some people get that mixed up.
Well, I do want to talk about the idea of hazing in today's climate, because we've never seen athletes and student athletes that are more interconnected and with the ability to reach each other than we've ever had. I know when you were, back in the day when you were at camp and Rogers was at camp and my dad was throwing Tim Brando in the P trough back at Fair Park High School, that kind of stuff went on, but it's not like you'd be able to get in touch with a guy from another university or whatever and say, hey, what are they doing to you? What's going on here? But with today's athlete being so interconnected and so online, I've got to imagine it's difficult, not only just from a human standpoint that you don't necessarily want to debase other people, but it's got to be tough because kids have more agency of themselves than ever before.
Yeah, and I don't know when. I came here in the early '90s, and one of the traditions I would say was the incoming freshman got a nice haircut at the end of fall camp,
sure,
right before the first day of class, right? But at some point, that stopped. And this was before social media here anyway. And I don't know exactly when that stopped, but all of that stopped prior to social media. But I don't see if you're doing hazing now with social media, how everybody's not knowing about it.
Sure.
At that particular time when it happened, not years down the road. And I hadn't read. I don't know the in-depths of what's going on, but I think it's maybe some student athletes from the past, that are coming up and maybe saying some things. And now I don't know how, if it happens that particular day, it's going to be on social media. And so I don't know how. And in today's world, if universities are still doing it, how? Because of social media.
Yeah. Do y'all have any, freshmen have to do, carry the pads for the seniors? Any of that kind of fun stuff that's not, debasing another person?
No, the only thing that we continue to do, and we'll do this. Matter of fact, I gotta warn them next week, and we do this, coaches and players. Kind of towards the end of fall camp prior to the season. We have a night where we, all the newcomers, players and coaches, by position, got to get up and sing the fight song. And,
mm-hmm.
and that's more so to make them learn it, because if
sure.
you don't force them to get up there and sing, then they're not going to go home and study it and learn it. They're going to go through their whole first year, after a game and we go to the band playing the fight song, they're going to be in the back just moving their lips, not knowing what the heck they're saying. But so we do that. And along with that, we have a talent show, and but that's a good night just to laugh and have fun. But that's the only thing that we continue to do.
Has anyone on the talent show done a Brad Laird impression?
I don't think they have.
Okay,
Patrick.
I mean, because you see, well, I'm sure none of your players are listening to my show, but yeah, I was, you always see like every time we watch Hard Knocks and they do the talent show, someone always does
right.
the coach.
Yeah, they haven't had that. There's been some other coaches that
okay.
that's happened to, but I don't recall.
Well, you're. I mean, not to say anything negative about you, Brad, but you're kind of milquetoast when it comes to that stuff. You're not super. You don't have
I'm not fun.
Well, you just don't have you don't have like a hook. There's not a hook for you. You're kind of a down the middle, clean cut dude, good, well spoken. You don't have anything that you can really sink your teeth into that would be a good impression.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a compliment or not.
I don't know if it was either, to be honest with you. The good news is, you know where my heart is, so I know you'll come back on the show again at some point if we need to talk to you. B. Laird, you're the best, my friend. Best of luck with practice. I'll probably see you out there Saturday morning.
Saturday?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I got a soccer match on Saturday afternoon that we're televising.
Whoa! You are?
Yeah.
You're announcing.
I'm doing soccer and volleyball this year in addition to football.
Okay.
So I'll be there for UCLA in Natchitoches, which is going to be wild. I don't know. We tried to figure out the last time a Power 5 team came to Natchitoches that wasn't baseball or softball for that matter. And Pew and I are struggling to come up with one. It's been a while. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I've got the friendly on Saturday between NSU and ULL. So I'll be on the call.
Good deal. Look forward to seeing you, and also, good luck to all the high schools there in that Shreveport-Bossier area. I know getting ready, probably scrimmages next week. But not only the coaches, players, but cheerleaders, band, everybody that's involved. It's a great time for those young men. Their high school years and careers, the best time of their life. I just want to wish them good luck as they go through this 2023 season.
You're the best, B. Laird. See you Saturday.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Brad Laird, head coach of the Northwestern State Demons.